Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Python Gurukul. Today we'll be talking about Python file handling, and we'll try to cover reading from a file, how to write to a file, and how to modify the file. Also, we'll be going through how to interact with the boundary file, and at the end we'll be talking about Json read and write operation. So we got a lot to learn, so let's keep moving. We'll start with the open function. And open function takes two arguments. One is the file name, another is the mode, and it returns the file object. And then we can perform the operation on that file object. Regarding the file name, it could be file name or it could be path, it could be absolute or relative. And regarding the mode, we can choose any mode. Few of them are like read, write, append, binary, or read and write both. Let's quickly take a look at one of the examples. So let's bring one of the code sample and we'll go to the read one. So in this example, we are just calling the open, and here for the sample we have taken add base resource dot robot. This is one of the sample file for the robot test cases, and we are giving the mode read. Once open will be executed, it will return the file object, and then on top of the file object we are calling the read. We are reading all the content. It is going to this variable, and at the end we are printing the content. So let's go to the command prompt and run the Python program and call the read 1.5. So let's take a look at this file, what we have inside this file. The same thing, whatever we have printed on the screen. We are just saying it is a test case, then a couple of the lines here, and then at the end. Let's move back to our slide. And the next thing I'll be talking about how we can interact with the file, how we can go line by line, or how we can traverse through the line and look for some particular string. So for that, we have a couple of the options here. We'll be exploring the for loop. And through the help of the for loop, we'll be just going through line by line and looking for some text in the file and perform some operation on that. So let's bring the code, sample code for that. In this example, we have one input. We will be just printing this message to ask input from the user. Whatever user provides the input will be stored into the tag, and then as we saw in the last example, we are calling the open. But this time we have just provided the file name. We are not given the mode. So by default, mode is read only. So now we got the file object. We have initialized another variable count, 0, just to count the matches. And then we are calling the for loop. So the beauty of this for loop is that it goes through the file object. It tries to uncover line by line. So first time it will bring the first line of the file object. And then we can perform any operation on the line. Like in this example, we are just saying that if the tag what we got from the user exists in the line, if it's so, we'll be increasing the count. And once we reach at the end of the line, we are just saying what tag user provided and how many matches found. So let's go back to the command prompt once again. And this time we'll be calling Python read 2.5. So now it is asking into the tag. So first I'll try with the exit tag. So we are looking for all the test cases which is tagged with the exit. And it said that only one test case is found. So even I said test cases, but it is just going line by line and looking for the match. Let's run this test case second time on this Python code. And this time say word login and just look for it. So now we see that it said that it found 4 times. And if we go back to the test case So what it is doing, it is going to the every line, and in that particular line, it is trying to see that the login word exists or not. So wherever it found, just keep counting. So in case of login, it was found 4 times in the 4 different lines. In the exit, it was only found in 1 line. So that's how we got the answer. Okay, so let's move on. And then we'll try to see how we can write the new data to the file. So for that, everything stay as it is. Only 2 things we need to remember. One is the close. Whenever we are done with the writing operation, we need to make sure that we are closing the stream. In this example, we will bring one of the sample code, and for that, we'll take a look at the write. So in this example, we are going to create template.robot. And this time we are giving the mode write mode. So whenever we give the write mode, even this file exists in this location, this file will be rewritten. We will lose all the content whatever we had, and we'll be writing the new. So what we are writing in it, once we got the object, we are doing the multiple write, adding settings, variables, test cases, keywords, and then we are saying close the string. And let's see, go to the command prompt, and this time we'll call write. So what we did, we just created template.robot successfully. Let's go back to template.robot, and Notepad++ is saying that something has changed here. That's what we're expecting. And these are the 4 lines have been added. So how about doing the append? Because we saw that whenever we do the write, whatever we have, it will be gone, and we'll be writing the new data into it. So in the case of append, we will be using mode as a, and again, so what it does, it just moves the pointer to the end of the file and then start adding the new data to the file. So that way we are not losing content whatever it had previously. So let's go to the another sample, and here we'll bring the append.py. So again, we want to operate on the last file, the robot template file we created. This time we are using the mode A, means we are going to append, so we are not going to overwrite. Whatever content it has, on top of it, we'll be adding only this particular write operation. So what we are writing, we are just adding the comment at the end of the file, and we are closing. So let's go back to the save the program. So this time we will write Python append.py. Okay, so it said that it has been successfully updated. Let's go take a look at the file and go back to the template.robot. So earlier we had setting variables, test cases, keywords. Now we see that something has changed in this file because we did the append. So let's say yes, and now we see that yes, comments added. This was the last line through our append program, and it has been added. Okay, moving to the next. So so far we have learned how to read, how to write, how to append. On the same line, we just want to explain that if we have to perform the operation on top of the binary file, how will we doing that? So even before going there, we just want to explain in few lines that binary file will be not able to read in our text format. It is something which is written in the bytes. So we have to change the data to the byte before writing. And then while reading also, we have to uncover the data and read them. So let's see how it goes. And this file, yeah. And so for this example, again, we are calling the open. We have given new file name, and we are writing in binary mode. So we have just combined 2 modes. We are saying write, but it should be in binary mode. This particular data we want to add, but as it is binary file, we'll be not able to add the data. So we need to change the data to the binary format. We did here. And the line number 4, then we are just following the way we were doing earlier. Call the write operator and add the data. And then once we are done with the writing, we are just closing. So this portion of the code takes care of writing to a binary file. Now, as we know that we'll be not able to read, so just we want to read through this program as well. We are saying, okay, we are done. Let's open the file. We have provided the open, but this time we are saying read in binary mode. And then we go the file object. On top of the file object, we are calling the read operation that we have already saw this one. And as it is binary data, we are just converting to the list, sending the list to the number variable. And at the end, we are printing the number so that we can get to know that whatever we have entered, we are getting back. Go back to the program and we'll say Python, and then we are going to call read binary.py. So we are just closing the file, opening the file, and this is data whatever we have written in the program. Same we got back by reading the file. But let's see what we have inside this file. Let's give a try and try reading this file. So I have already opened this file. We are trying to read, and you see that we have some data, but it is not human readable, and that's what we were talking about. Now back to our slide. So now we'll be learning about the with. With operators simplify the developer's task. We have been noticing that wherever we did write operation or modify operation, we were making sure that we are calling the close function before exiting the program. With simplify this task. With the help of the with, we don't have to make sure that we are closing the file properly. So here we have closed the file, but we are not handling the exception. We'll talk about the exception later, but just for now, with is very helpful. It makes sure that before exiting the program, it makes sure that clear the string and close the file. So wherever we are dealing with a socket, a file, then we need to make sure that we are using the with, and it just reduces the over burden when we need to force to call the close. Okay, so let's move on. So this is the JSON file format, and we have been using mostly for a REST call, during the calling the REST call or some other purposes. So if you don't know about the JSON, I'll highly encourage that go ahead read. But if you have been using somewhere, so here we'll try to showcase that how we can read the data from the JSON file, or how we can write the data to the JSON file. And for JSON, it is already inbuilt. We don't have to install any extra plugin for that. But while writing the program, we need to make sure that we are importing JSON. And then here we are just setting up one variable. And let's go to the JSON one. So we imported JSON, we got one variable, and this line, the way we saw that how we can use the with, that's where I'm using the with for this example. And inside that, we are going to call the JSON, the one we imported just now, and saying dump the data. Whatever data we have got, jump to the JD object. JD is just file object, the one we have created, and we are dumping the data. Data is a credential, what we got here. And we are done. In this one line, we are just making sure to write the wonderful JSON data to JSON file. Okay. How to read the JSON file? It is again very similar to the way we have been using. Again, we are using the with for this example. So now going forward, we will try to use the with wherever we are interacting with the files. So again, While calling the open, we use the with, then open, we have given the file name, and as it is for the read-only purposes, no need to provide the mode. And then we are saying as that. And now we are calling the load. So two things we have to remember. One is the dump to write, one is the load to read. So as we do the json.load, and we are loading from this particular data, the Python file object, and now we have retrieved the data to credential, and it is available for us to use in our program. So now I'm saying print the username credential of username, and then credential of password. So this is the way now we have the data we'll be able to use for our purposes. So let's go back to the command prompt and call the Python JSON example. So we see that the data your JSON have been created, and only these two things we had: username, admin, password, C123, and this is what we got. So let's go back and take a look at that data file. Okay, this have been created. So this is the JSON file data.json, and we have only username and password. So that's all I had for today. Thank you all for watching. If you like, please share and subscribe. Thank you.